Hi, welcome to Sheltering with Swami and Nikki. And I'm Swami Chaitanya.
I'm Nikki Lastreto. And, we're just thinking about old times. We just got a great FaceTime call with our dear friend Carl Fink from Goa. He's a friend of ours. He's obviously with a name like Carl Fink, not from Goa, but he's from Long Island. That makes more sense. And he made it out of Goa. He was visiting his friends in Goa in South India. Just got out a couple weeks ago in time. So just made us start thinking about the old days in India a little bit.
Well, he was there with his wife, Anne, also, all sheltered down on Long Island because they have a lockdown in New York as well. So, what do we want to say about the history of Goa?
Well, it just got us thinking about it, about how, maybe you don't even all know what Goa is, so maybe we should explain that.
Okay.
As Swami once said in a movie, it's a state of mind, but it really is a physical place, too. It's a very small state on the southwest coast of India, just south of the state of Maharashtra, where Bombay is, or Mumbai. Very tiny little place. And what makes it unique is that it was colonized by the Portuguese rather than the British. And so it's always had a very different vibe than the British colonies that were India, and it's carried over into what it is today, even though it's all part of now India.
So one of the key things about that different vibe was that the Portuguese, settled it, and they're Catholic, right? And so it was also a lot of the Jesuits, wasn't it? That
I don't know. I can't remember if they're St. Francis Xavier.
Yeah, isn't that the Jesuit order?
No.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyway,
check that.
The Apostle of the Orient was St. Francis Xavier, I believe, and anyway. It's a whole story about colonization around late 1500s, 1580, 90, or like that. And they had for the spice trade, they got cloves and cashew nuts and all these other things that were, and it was also part of the whole trade sequence where Portuguese colony was all the way in Macau in China, and then they were down in Malacca.
Okay, but to bring this up more to the present, because Swami will tend to go back a few hundred years if
he can. It's important. The Catholic thing is important.
But the reason that this makes this a unique place in India is that because it's Catholic, a couple things. One is that they've allowed. Oh, there's Frisco. That they allow. They were always much more open, believe it or not, with people being naked on the beaches.
No,
they were. You weren't going to do that. You might do it if you're a Hindu person going into the water in other parts of India, but you're taking a sacred bath.
Shut that down.
But at the main beaches for many years, that's why people felt the freedom in Goa.
I'm going to disagree. The main difference, I think, was because the Catholic Church honors wine, is that Goa was always a place that always had alcohol, not just wine, but brandy and beer.
Yeah, but the hippies didn't go there to drink.
But I'm talking about India. You wanted history. The fact is that India was a dry country. And when it became independent, and even before that, not everyone could drink. Alcohol was forbidden to Muslims and to Sikhs and even to high-class Hindus. And so English people in colonizing India, they had what they call a permit. And the permit was like a license to drink alcohol, and they were permit rooms where you could drink. But it was not readily available commercially. Of course, there was underground, illicit, moonshine kind of alcohol always. But Goa, being Catholic, was a place where wine and beer, whiskey, brandy particularly, were actually celebrated. And so
Okay, so to my point, what that means is that people were getting drunk in Goa, and they were much more loose about things, and they let people be naked on the beach.
Okay.
The other thing that they also really encouraged in Goa is smuggling, because they really did have so many spices and wonderful things to smuggle out. Gold was smuggled out of India to other parts of the world, and
because
it has this background in smuggling. So between smuggling and open-mindedness about not just being naked on the beach, but also taking drugs, which is what people were doing, is what attracted hippies.
We did our naked on the beach part.
It attracted hippies to be there.
Right.
And so anyway, we're keeping these segments short because we can only upload so much from our ranch out here. So it just means you have to stay tuned now for the next one.
Next one. Naked on the beach. No.
Naked on the beach. That's right.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
Anyway, bye-bye.